Hello, welcome to La Excellence. In our recap program, we are discussing monthly current affairs videos. In this session, let us discuss March 2021 related issues, and this is part 3 of the video. PDF of this video is available in the description. If you want to write test series based on monthly current affairs videos, you can enroll through the given link in the description. First, let us discuss science and technology related issues. First one is Amazonia 1, that is NSIL. PSLV C-51 is the launch vehicle that's used to launch Amazon 1 satellite. Amazon 1 is satellite of Brazil. India has launched it. It's the first dedicated commercial mission of New Space India Limited, NSIL. NSIL is the newly created commercial arm under Department of Space. Its major aim is to promote and coordinate with the private industries, and it brings in private customers, foreign customers, etc. And SSLV, small satellite launch vehicle, that we are going to develop for that project to find out the private partners, commercial partners. NSIL is going to play an important role. The other commercial arm under Department of Space is Anthrax. Next issue is SFDR technology, solid fuel ducted ramjet technology. Recently, DRDO tested this technology for its air to air missiles. Ramjet is a form of air breathing jet engine. It uses the vehicle's forward motion to compress the incoming air, and it sends the exhaust out. And there are no moving parts in ramjet engine. There's one more engine called scramjet. In both ramjet and scramjet engine, no moving parts are there, but in normal turbo engine, moving parts will be there. That is one of the reasons why ramjet and scramjet move forward with much higher speeds with more efficiency, and it breathes the air from the air. That is why it is called as air breathing jet engine. Solid fuel ramjet, ducted ramjet technology is used by DRDO in its air to air missiles. Similar technology, scramjet technology, is tested by ISRO as well as DRDO. Next issue is nuclear energy technology, whether is this a green technology or not. To produce the nuclear energy, we use two methods. One is fusion technology, second one is fission technology. In both the technologies, we need the raw material. Most of the nuclear power plant, or all the nuclear power plants as of now, they are running with fission technology. We extract the nuclear material such as uranium, we process it, we use it as a raw material, and then in the back end we store the spent fuel. Nuclear energy, it supplies quality power without any direct emissions. But the only problem with it is addressing the spent fuel. How do we address the spent fuel? That is the major issue over here. This is the process explaining how nuclear power plant works. Apart from fission technology, fusion technology is also in development. In the previous months, we have discussed about China's artificial sun, ITER project. These are all examples for fusion nuclear reaction. But as of now, no man-made fusion reaction has resulted into viable source of electricity. They are all under experimental stages, where we use hydrogen as the fuel. In fission, we are using uranium as the fuel. Next issue is vaccine types. Vaccine platforms are of various types. Modern vaccines, which are known as DNA, RNA vaccines, live attenuated vaccines, inactivated vaccines, subunit vaccines, viral vector vaccines. These are the types of vaccines. For our prelims examination, we have to remember which company is producing which type of vaccine. Just to go through the list, and in the previous months, if you are following the current affairs regularly, in the previous revision videos, we have discussed about mRNA vaccines, inactivated vaccines, viral vector vaccines. These are three major platforms in which COVID vaccines are made. Just to go through them once and try to revise them once. Next issue is responsible artificial intelligence. AI, that is artificial intelligence, it refers to the ability of the machines to perform the cognitive skills. That is why artificial intelligence, it can perform human-like activities. Now, responsible AI means AI is a double-edged tool. It can be used for good purpose, it can harm the national security, it can harm the individual privacy and safety. So in this context, how do we build responsible AI? That is the question. Niti Aayog has released an approach paper known as approach paper in which it has discussed about Airavat platform, AI research analytics and knowledge assimilation platform, Airavat platform. This platform, it aims to guide the research and development of new and emerging technologies in AI. It will be established based on recommendations of National Strategy on Artificial Intelligence. This is important. National Strategy on Artificial Intelligence. Under this, Indian government is going to tackle the challenges that leads to problems in AI. Responsible AI should have these characteristics. This platform should provide accountability, fairness and equity, data privacy and security, social and environmental positive impact, security robustness, transparency, and explainability. These are some of the characteristics of responsible AI. Next issue is GPS based toll collection. According to Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, India will implement a GPS based toll collection system, and it is going to remove all these toll booths. Already we are using FASTag app and FASTag scanners. FASTag works with RFID. Based on RFID technology, this is a near communication technology, near field communication technology. Based on RFID radio frequency waves, it's a one-way communication. Based on that, the scanners, they scan the vehicle, then they automatically detect the amount from the FASTag app, FASTag account. So in this context now, without the toll gates itself, using GPS means constellation of navigation satellites. Using GPS, we are going to identify the path of the vehicle and then impose the toll. So that is how GPS based toll collection, it reduces the congestion and maintenance of roads further. Next issue is InSight mission. InSight is part of NASA's Discovery program. Recently, this InSight lander has recorded over more than 500 Mars quakes, seismic waves on Mars quakes. And through this, it wants to identify how these terrestrial planets formed. What is there inside? How these terrestrial planets formed? That is the major objective of this InSights mission launched by NASA under a Discovery program. It is the first mission to measure the depth of the Martian surface. This was launched in this became functional on 2018. It landed on the Mars surface in 2018. Now Perseverance mission is in news. Sarno, Perseverance touched down the Mars surface. That is also related to our NASA's Mars mission. Next issue is double mutant. Virus, especially RNA viruses, they mutate. Mutate means change in the gene sequence is known as mutation. When they mutate, when the genetic sequence is different from its parent, it is known as variant. Strain means when a variant shows significantly different behavior, that is known as strain. Double mutant means mutation at two places. We have Indian SARS-CoV-2 Consortium on Genomics. This is a multi-laboratory, multi-agency, pan-India network that conducts genome surveillance using genome sequencing. So this provides us information on the emerging mutations and the variants with regard to COVID-19. These variants and mutants, if they are substantially different from the parent virus, it can lead to reinfections in us. Even the vaccines become less effective when the mutations are more. Next issue is zoonotic disease and WHO's report. Recently, WHO and UNEP has given certain guidelines with regard to zoonotic diseases. Here, there is a term known as zoonosis. Zoonosis means spread of infection from non-human animals to human animals. They can be due to either the zoonotic pathogens can be bacterial cells, virus, parasites, fungus, etc. It can spread to humans through direct contact or through food, water, and environment. To combat the zoonotic diseases, the surveillance needs to be there, good health needs to be maintained, awareness and education needs to be there. In this context, let us briefly understand what are the important zoonotic diseases. bacterial zoonotic diseases such as anthrax, burkhollius, plague, etc., viral zoonosis such as rabies, airborne infections, Kyasanur forest disease, yellow fever, influenza, Nipah, Ebola, etc. This is important because of COVID. Next, rickettsial zoonosis, protozoal zoonosis, helminthic zoonosis, fungal zoonosis. Likewise, we have different types of parasites which cause zoonosis. In this context, WHO and UNEP has given guidelines. It has said that countries they should suspend the sale of live animals. Two, they should strengthen the regulatory base for improving the hygiene standards in the traditional food markets. Third, train the food inspectors to ensure better regulations and their implementations. Fourth, strengthen the animal health surveillance system. Fifth, develop and implement the food safety information campaigns. These are some of the important guidelines by WHO to address these zoonotic diseases. Next, let us understand environment and disaster management related issues. First one is gregarious bamboo. Gregarious bamboo means bamboo stalks they flower at a time heavily. After a few days, they die at a time. So at that time, in that particular location, bamboo used as a food by many animals. So these animals they lose the food for a period of time. So that's why gregarious flowering can lead to man-animal conflict because these animals, especially elephants, they move to human habitations for food because of this phenomena. So this is known as gregarious bamboo. We cannot prevent it, but we can observe it beforehand. We can develop the alternate stock of food. That's where we can reduce the man-animal conflict. Next issue is biofences and rehab project. Khadi and Village Industries Commission has launched a project known as Project Rehab, reducing elephant human attacks using bees. Under this project, bee boxes are placed. It is proven that elephants fear the bees. That's why they won't go in that direction. That is how human animal conflict can be reduced. KVIC has proposed this idea and is implementing this. Next issue is Great Indian Bustard. In Pakistan, southern Punjab region, Great Indian Bustard species were hunted. That made the news all over South Asia. In this context, why that's so important? Why the species is so important? Great Indian Bustard species are flagship species and they indicate the health of the grassland ecology. And there are many threats that these species are facing, including collision and electrocution with the power lines, hunting, habitat loss, alteration of land structure. These are some of the threats to these species. That's why their number has fallen down substantially. According to IUCN list, this is in critically endangered list. Under Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species, it's placed in Appendix 1, CMS Appendix 1, Wildlife Protection Act, Schedule 1. That means highest protection. This is how we are trying to protect these species. Next issue is climate justice. Recently, USA has re-entered into Paris Agreement and it has promised to reduce the greenhouse gases. And this USA has proposed net zero emissions and it has asked other countries. China agreed to go for net zero emissions by 2060, USA by 2050, and India was asked by USA because India is the third largest emitter. So USA asked India whether we go for net zero emissions or not. It is trying to convince us to go for net zero emissions. But we said, as of now, we cannot. The industrialized countries should take more responsibility than us. It is under climate justice. What is climate justice? Every country can emit a certain percentage of greenhouse gases, which we call them as emission brackets. These are decided based on maximum amount of carbon that we can add by 2000 to maintain the stable environment. And all have common goals, that is to reduce the greenhouse emissions. But each one should have different responsibilities, common but differentiated responsibilities, because some countries, industrialized countries, contributed the most and other countries are experiencing the loss. For example, African countries have contributed minuscule percentage of GHGs, but they are the ones that are that are experiencing high losses because of less coping capacity. So, in this context, climate justice is defined. Climate justice is defined as a term is used to global warming as an ethical and political issue. So, causes of climate change and who should take the measures, why should they accept the historical responsibility, these are all discussed under climate justice. Next issue is seaweed. Seaweed collection has become one of the viable economic opportunity in the coastal areas. In that context, let us understand what is a seaweed. Seaweed is a common name for many species of marine plants and algae that grow in the oceans as well as rivers, lakes, and other water bodies. In the freshwater bodies, weed is considered as poisonous. Most of the weed in freshwater bodies is poisonous, but in the marine water, that is in the ocean, seaweed is considered more nutritious, having minerals, fiber, etc. Many seaweeds they contain anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial agents. Some of them have cancer-fighting agents. So, in this context, it is very important to maintain the marine food chain. For example, kelp forests. Kelp forests they support large amount of species, especially fish species. So, seaweed is important ecologically and economically. Next issue is red rice. Recently, from our Assam region, Brahmaputra Valley region, red rice was exported to USA. That's why this was the news. Red rice, this color red rice, red is because it is rich in iron. India has many types of rice varieties. In this context, to promote the exports, these traditional varieties and diversity in rice needs to be maintained. Next issue is Shimli-Pal National Park. Shimli-Pal National Park is located in Odisha. Recently, a massive forest fire broke out in this particular region. Shimli-Pal derived its name from simil tree and it is formally designated as Tiger Reserve and later as a Biosphere Reserve. Now it is part of UNESCO's World Network of Biosphere Reserve. It is part of Mayurbhanj Elephant Reserve too. Mayurbhanj Elephant Reserve. Next issue is National Capital Accounting and Valuation of Ecosystem Services Project. India is one of 90 countries that adopted this kind of accounting system. Ministry of Statistics and Implementation is implementing this project. This project is funded by European Union and it is jointly implemented by UN Statistics Division, UN Environment Program, Secretariat of Convention on Biodiversity. In India, this project is implemented by Ministry of Statistics and Program with the close cooperation of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. It uses the satellite data to assess the ecosystem services. Let's say last year, what was the forest cover, etc. They monitor. This year, what is it? That is how accounting and valuation is done. Next issue is Coalition of Disaster Resilient Initiative. It was launched by India at UN Climate Action Summit in the year 2019. This particular Coalition for Disaster Resilience Initiative has 21 member countries and 7 organizations. Under this, all these countries and organizations, they partner with each other to discuss the global practices on disaster and climate resilient infrastructure. It has UN agencies, different countries, multilateral development banks, financing mechanisms, private sector, and knowledge institutions. It's a multi stakeholder global partnership. India is partnering with other countries under one more global initiative that is known as International Solar Alliance. Next issue is FAME scheme. Faster adoption of electric and hybrid vehicle scheme. FAME scheme. FAME scheme is implemented by Ministry of Heavy Industries. Recently, this ministry has announced to extend this phase 2 of FAME scheme for 2 more years, that is till 2024. FAME is part of National Electric Mobility Mission Plan. This National Electric Mobility Mission Plan targeted to achieve 6 to 7 million sales of electric and hybrid vehicles across the country by 2020. According to this, in the year 2015, FAME scheme was formulated. In the year 2019, FAME 2 was launched. Now it is extended till 2024. Under this scheme, manufacturers are incentivized. Purchasers, that is, consumers who purchase the electric vehicles, they'll be incentivized. Next issue is National Crisis Management Committee. Recently, because of various cyclones that hit India, this particular committee is in use. It is a committee set up by the Government of India to respond and to coordinate during the disaster response. It's country's apex body to handle any emergency. This committee issues directions to the crisis management group, which implements these directions. Major functions of National Crisis Management Committee include to oversee the command and control coordination of disaster response, to give directions to the crisis management group, and it consists of cabinet secretary as the chairman, secretary to finance ministry as the member, secretary to ministry of home affairs as the member, and other concerned ministries and department secretaries will be part of this particular committee. Under NDMA Act, National Disaster Management Act 2005, National Crisis Management Committee as a word is not mentioned. New institution was created which is known as National Executive Committee. According to NDMA Act, this has to replace this. But both function parallelly, that's why they have overlapping powers. Next, let us discuss governance related issues. First issue is IT Rules 2021. Ministry of Information Technology and Electronics has proposed for IT rules under Information Technology Act 2000. Under this, for social media and digital platforms and OTT platforms, these rules are applicable. Under these rules, government is seeking to empower the digital platforms and ensure the accountability from them because they have power. Power comes with responsibility. That's why accountability is sought from the social media and digital media platforms. Tighter timelines to take down the unlawful content and assisting the law enforcement agencies. Identification of first originator of the message. Strict rules for bigger platforms, including maintaining the local presence. Voluntary user verification mechanisms. These are made mandatory for social media. For digital media and OTT platforms, self regulation and self classification of content, code of ethics, 3-tier grievance redressal mechanism, subjects digital news media to the same traditional media regulations under these new IT rules. So, in this context, what if any of these social media or digital media, if they don't follow under IT Act, we have a provision known as Safe Harbor Provision. Safe Harbor Provision means these are intermediaries, so any information posted on them, they don't have direct responsibility. Let's say if someone posts a tweet, Twitter is not responsible for that. That provision is known as Safe Harbor Provision for the user content. But in case of non-compliance with the IT Rules 2020-21, that safe harbor provision will be removed from that particular company. And in case of contravention, it is liable to punishment under IT Act or IPC. These are the same provisions that we have just discussed. Please go through them once. Next issue is Social Assistance Program. National Social Assistance Program. Recently, Parliamentary Standing Committee on Rural Development, it has criticized center's meager pension allocations under National Social Assistance Program. First, let us understand what this program is and then let us see the issue. National Social Assistance Program, it was launched in the year 1995. It is to provide pensions, that is financial assistance to elderly population, widows and persons with disabilities in the form of social pensions. Under this, under NSAP, people belonging to BPL families, they will be given the pensions. There are 5 schemes that are part of National Social Assistance Program. One is Indira Gandhi National Old Age Pension Scheme. 2 is Indira Gandhi National Widow Pension Scheme. 3 Indira Gandhi National Disability Pension Scheme. 4 National Family Benefit Scheme. And finally Annapurna Scheme. Under these schemes, pensions are very, very less. 200, 300, 500 like that. So this is not sufficient. That's why Parliamentary Committee on Rural Development has criticized this. Some states, for example, like AP, they are adding more amount to this and they are providing the assistance at 2,500 rupees per month. That means the additional burden over the central component is borne by the states. Next issue is National Environmental Regulator. Recently, Supreme Court has asked the government to explain why the government has not constituted a unified environmental regulator. Supreme Court in 2001 in La France mining case has asked the government to go for independent environmental regulator to oversee the green clearances under Environmental Protection Act, but the government has not constituted it. What are the functions that are envisaged under this regulator? Appraisal and approval functions, monitoring and implementation of the environmental clearances. These are some of the functions that are envisaged under this regulator. Next issue is vehicle scrappage policy. Minister for Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari, he has recently announced vehicle scrappage policy. This was initially announced in this year's budget. Later, cabinet approved it and the ministry has announced it. Under this particular scheme, scrap value 4 to 6 percentage of ex showroom price of new vehicle to be given to the owner by the scrapping center when we sell the old vehicle for the scrap. Tax rebates are provided, discounts on new vehicles are provided, fee waivers, road fees, etc. Fees waivers would be provided for the vehicle owners who give their vehicle for the scrap after their lifetime. And government vehicles, they need to be mandatorily sent to the scrap after a certain limited period of time. Scrap certificates will be issued. This scrapping facility, registered vehicle scrapping facility, under that incentives are provided. Why this policy is needed? Old vehicles emit the pollution much. So in that context, this policy 1 reduces the environmental pollution, 2 revives the demand for automobile sector, 3 increases the manufacturing capacity of India. Next issue is Jal Jeevan Mission and Water Quality Framework. Ministry of Jal Shakti has launched framework for water quality testing and monitoring under Jal Jeevan Mission. Jal Jeevan Mission is a renamed version of National Rural Drinking Water Project. In the rural areas, piped connection will be provided under this scheme. Under this, water quality and monitoring must be there, yes or no? That is why Ministry of Jal Shakti has proposed this scheme, and under that, National Accreditation Board for Testing and Calibration Laboratories, they set up the testing labs at every state, district and block level, and at the panchayat level, self-testing kits will be provided to the women. Apart from voluntary tests, members of the public and officials, they can do regular inspections, they can seek the water quality information from the system. What are the parameters that are tested under this? pH value of the water, total dissolved solids, turbidity, chloride content, total alkalinity, hardness, sulfates, irons. These are all tested under water quality framework under Jal Jeevan Mission. That means it is to provide quality drinking water to every family. Next issue is police reforms. Recently, Maharashtra State Intelligence Department Commissioner has written a letter to Chief Minister alleging a rampant political interference in the police transfers. And then, in that context, Prakash Singh case and 7-point directive was in news. What is this Prakash Singh case? A retired GDP of Bihar. He has filed a case in Supreme Court, PIL in Supreme Court, seeking reforms in the police sector. Police belong to law and order, and police, it comes under state list. In that context, Supreme Court has given 7-point directive in Prakash Singh case. It has asked the state governments to establish State Security Commission, and it asked the DGP to be provided with 2-year tenure, 2-year term for SPs and station house officers, separating the investigation and law and order function of the police to maintain efficiency, to set up the police establishment board, to set up police complaints authority at state and district levels, setting up National Security Commission at the central level. These are the 7 directives given by the Supreme Court in Prakash Singh case. In many of the cases, these are not followed. That is why Supreme Court has recently asked, we have given a directions, why have you not implemented it? Center said it's not the responsibility of the center, it's the responsibility of the states. And many states, they don't have data on what reforms are implemented, what are not implemented, how far are they successful. They don't have data. Next issue is Pradhana Mantri Atmanirbhar Swasthya Bharat Yojana. This is the new scheme that's announced under budget 2021, centrally sponsored scheme. This is under this 65,000 crore rupees over next 6 years will be spent in addition to the funds under National Health Mission. Under this, rural and urban health and wellness centers will be supported. Integrated public health laboratories will be set up in each district. Establishing critical care hospital blocks in 602 districts. Strengthening the National Center for Disease Control. Expansion of National Health Information Portal. New public health units will be set up. Health emergency operation centers will be set up. That means it is to overhaul the entire health infrastructure. Government has brought in this PM Atmanirbhar Swasthya Bharat Yojana. In the next 6 years, this scheme will be implemented. Next issue is grounds of rejection under RTI. Recently, central government has said that only 4.3% of all RTI requests in the last year 2019-20 were rejected. So under what grounds can an RTI appeal can be rejected? First of all, we have to understand that every public authority should have public information officer. They should digitize the information. PIO should provide the information when and when the citizen requests it. And this information needs to be provided within 30 days. In case of emergency, it needs to be provided within 48 hours. If PIO is not providing adequate information or rejecting the information, the individual can go to CIC in case of central government, SIC in case of state government related office. Next, what are the exemptions? We said section 8.1, section 9, section 24. These are three sections under RTA Act 2005 that provide exemption to the access of information. Section 8 deals with exemption from disclosure of information if it belongs to personal information, if it is commercial confidential information, etc. In case of section 9, it empowers the state PIO and SIO to reject the information if it infringes the copyright rights. Under section 24, under national security and human rights violation category, intelligence organizations are exempted from providing the information. Next issue is CSIR Floriculture Mission. This mission is implemented in collaboration with many agencies, ICAR, Khadi Village Industries Committee, APEDA. There are many ministries that are involved. Floricultural mission of CSIR. This promotes agro technologies and new varieties, which adds value to the floriculture. Floriculture is one of the high-end area which has high export potential and value addition potential. Convergence of floriculture and apiculture is envisaged under this particular mission, CSIR's Floriculture Mission. It promotes the entrepreneurship. It encourages and enhances the farmer's income. Next is Sugamya Bharat Yojana. Union Minister for Social Justice has launched Sugamya Bharat app. This Sugamya Bharat app is simple mobile app with three easy step process, and registered users can raise the issues related to accessibility. This accessible app can convert text to speech. Color contrasting options are there. Three pillars of Accessible India campaign, which is known as Sugamya Bharat Yojana, are covered. Built-in environment, transport sector, ICT sector. Three areas are covered. Let's say hospitals, schools, shopping malls, etc. They should be made accessible. Transport sector, railways, roadways, airways, waterways, they should be accessible to everyone. ICT system, websites, mobile apps, TV viewing, that should be accessible to everyone. So these three areas are covered. This is an user-friendly app. And under Sugamya Bharat app, if we have any issues with regard to accessibility, we can mention those issues in this app. Let us briefly understand what this Accessible India campaign is, which is also known as Sugamya Bharat Abhiyan. This was launched in the year 2015 on the International Day of People with Disabilities. This is to empower the persons with disabilities. This is implemented under Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. Next issue is Ease of Living Index. Recently, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs has released two indices. One is Ease of Living Index, two is Municipal Performance Index. Under Ease of Living Index, Ease of Living Index 2020, MPI Index 2020, these are two released. Million plus population category, million category, two categories are there. In the Ease of Living Index, 13 categories are 49 indicators on the 13 categories are calculated. Pune, Ahmedabad are top. Bangalore is the top area in Ease of Living Index. Less than million population category, Shimla is the area with high Ease of Living Index. Municipal Performance Index 2020 is also released by Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. In this, Indore and Surat, they topped. In Ease of Living Index, Bangalore and Pune topped. In Municipal Performance Index, Indore and Surat topped. Under Municipal Performance Index, sectoral performance of 1 level municipalities was studied. Under 20 sectors, 100 indicators in total. 5 verticals are there: finance, policy, technology and governance. Ranking is provided based on two categories: 1 million plus cities and then less than million plus cities. In million plus cities, Indore topped. In less than million category, New Delhi Municipal Corporation. After that, Tirupati emerged as the major areas with Municipal Performance Index. Next issue is Pradhana Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Nidhi. Union Cabinet recently has approved Pradhana Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Nidhi as a single non-lapsable reserve fund for health. It is constituted from the proceeds of health and education cess. Under Cess Finance Act 2007, health and education cess was brought in. Proceeds from this will be used for Pradhana Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Nidhi, and this will be used to implement the flagship schemes under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, such as Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers, National Health Mission, Pradhana Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Yojana, emergency and disaster preparedness in case of any health emergencies. For all these schemes, this fund will be utilized. And the final issue is Grama Ujala initiative. This is very important. Recently, government has launched Grama Ujala initiative. It's an ambitious program to distribute the LED bulbs, each at 10 rupees cost. Very, very low. It's the world's cheapest LED bulbs. Why is government able to provide at very low cost? Because it has initiated a program known as carbon crediting the LED bulbs. That means generally, let's say we have to emit certain percentage, but because of this LED bulbs, we can save the energy, so our emissions will be less. This reduced emissions will be converted into carbon credits, and these are sold. This money which we get from the carbon credits is used to fill in the gap because of this subsidy. And under this program, 7 watt and 12 watt LED bulbs with 3-year warranty will be given to the rural customers. LEDs will be available only at 10 rupees. And Gram Ujla program will be implemented in villages of the 5 districts only. These 5 districts initially, this is the pilot project, so 5 districts. Rural households will also have meters installed in the houses to account for the usage. Grama Ujala initiative, it uses this sustainable carbon credit initiative. These are the issues of March month. Thank you very much. All the very best.